The Philippines are located in Asia and are comprised of many islands. There are many indigenous groups in the Philippines. However, this presentation will only focus on the Aeta. Populations of this culture are the highest on the main island of Luzon. People in the Aeta culture are classified under the word negritos, meaning little black person. Of the 100 to 150 languages spoken in the Philippines, 32 languages come from the Negrito ethno-linguist groups. This is such a large number of languages. Originally, Aeta people were nomadic and lived in very isolated groups along the island. One source even said groups could be as small as 5 families. They really have to trust and rely on one another for survival. Here's a picture of Aeta children. They practiced a hunter-gatherer subsistence pattern. Normally in societies with this pattern, women gather and men hunt. However, not in this culture. Women and men share many duties, and women are allowed to hunt. The gender division of labor does not exist. This really seems rare when comparing the other cultures we studied. Women serve as the healers. In order to perform healing ceremonies, the women rely on 2 things. 1, their knowledge that was passed down from their ancestors, and 2, many herbs. It is definitely a more simple way to do medicine, but it works for this culture. Although this culture does not have access to medicine we have access to, they do have some modern medicine. Interestingly, they still prefer their own women healers to modern medicine. Their trust in one another has to be extraordinary. Dances are either ritual or ceremonial. They usually revolve around a homemade native guitar. It's spelled Gitaha. The woman in this bottom picture might be holding one. The top 2 pictures show good examples of different dances that Aeta perform. Some dances are used to imitate animals. They would perform these dances before hunting. This emphasizes how this culture interacts with the nature and their surrounding environments. It also shows their connection to the animals that they actually eat and hunt. One problem this society faces is deforestation. It has been detrimental in this area. The Aeta people rely on the forest, and yet is being chopped down. This has made their way of life more challenging and forced some of their components of culture to change. The negative effects caused by deforestation has created a need for conservation. The Aeta are losing their habitat that they hunt in, habitat where they live. This loss of natural surroundings in their habitat could have an effect on population size. Currently, the Aeta are trying to settle land disputes. They want to protect and continue to live on ancestral land. Here, you can see a woman holding legal documents while she fights for her land. DNA analysis has also been used to try to sort out land disputes. Throughout history, a lot of people lived on Mount Pinatubo. When this volcano erupted in 1991, it left a path of destruction. You can see it in these images here. The Aeta people were forced out of their homes and had to move to the lowlands. Once people were forced to the lowlands, slightly larger communities were formed. These communities are called barangays. You'll see a large number of people standing behind the dancers in the pictures on the slide. These people were forced together since the volcano destroyed much of their habitat. Community education is used in the communities to help with reading, building community development, and teaching about land rights. Since group populations were increasing, teaching about this community development in a non-formal educational setting really helped decrease arguments and bonded people. As the Aeta had to assimilate to new environments and to new communities, they had to also find a way to make money. One way was the Aetas were able to sell honey. This also helped prove that the forest could provide other goods besides trees. Here is an Aeta woman holding a honeycomb. Besides selling honey, the Aeta were able to make money by selling charcoal. Charcoal is a highly desired item at their community markets. I did not do research on how much money they make by selling these goods. That's why the piggy bank looks a little unsure. As a result of modernization, changes were seen in the culture. Some changes were in sports, marriage, and religion. For instance, basketball became a popular activity, as well as men and women could marry outside of their clans, and Catholicism became the dominant religion in the culture. The Aeta have experienced both positive and negative changes to their culture. Many of their cultural components are changing or disappearing. Specifically, I read about language and the need to protect their languages. As barangays are formed and people are forced together, languages are disappearing. The Aeta seem to need to learn how to balance modern thoughts with traditional practices. It really reminded me of the cultural change that the Jibusi underwent. However, I don't know exactly what step in the process the Aeta are on. I hope as things continue to change, they are able to maintain their customs. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Aeta culture, and as you internalize the information I provided you with, I hope you are able to remember the 3 guiding principles of anthropology: holism, combating ethnocentrism, and cultural relativism. Thank you guys.